So real talk from a therapist here on TikTok. I just want to say we all are going to have wounds that are not just going to disappear in our life. They're going to require intentional healing work, okay? But the good news, and if I'm on your page, then hopefully you're into astrology. The good news is that your birth chart can actually help support you in better understanding what some of these deep wounds are to actually help you begin the process of befriending these wounds so you can do some healing work. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what I think are some of the core aspects of the birth chart that can point to these deep wounds so you can get started on doing some healing work. And you've probably already done a lot of healing work on these things, okay? So give yourself credit. And also, there's always more work to be done with gentleness and compassion, by the way. Okay, so let's get into it. So starting with number one, and if you're already following me, you can probably guess what it's going to be. Chiron. Chiron is an asteroid. We all have a Chiron placement in our birth chart. This is actually the symbol. Chiron represents one of your deepest core woundings in your life. Now, everyone's Chiron story is going to be different based on your experiences, but the way you look into this is you look at what is the sign your Chiron's in and what house is it in. And this is going to show you, give you some clues, and you're probably going to be familiar with this wound already, right? Because the birth chart just reflects our lived experience, but it's going to give you clues around some kind of core wounding based on something in your life, okay? So Chiron is huge, asteroid, look for this symbol. The next one I want to talk about, which you might also not be surprised, is Lilith, Black Moon Lilith in the birth chart. So Black Moon Lilith is going to be different for everybody, first of all, but it can pinpoint just big picture, different wounds or traumas related to your sense of power, authority. It might be related to people trying to control you, suppress you, oppression, something around your own sense of power, okay? And again, it's gonna be different for everybody, okay? But there could be themes of like rejection, shame, something you're afraid of. That's also ultimately you're meant to reclaim in some capacity, okay? So go look for your Black Moon Lilith, the sign, the house, aspects. This will give you some clues, maybe some themes around power, something you're meant to reclaim, some shame you're meant to heal. There's a lot of power here. The next one is Saturn, good old daddy Saturn. Everyone has a Saturn. Everyone has all these placements in their chart, okay? Go find where your Saturn is, the sign, the house. I'm actually more interested in the house your Saturn is in. Saturn is a classic. You've heard of the Saturn return. Saturn is an intense energy and is definitely going to give you some clues around something in your life that maybe there's a blockage, you're like delayed here, it's hard for you, you avoid it. Maybe there is some kind of specific trauma. Again, this is going to be different for everybody, but big picture, whatever Saturn points to in your chart, there's some kind of deep work that needs to happen here, and it's probably challenging for you for some particular reason based on some kind of wounding. So check out where Saturn is. This is probably something that's challenging for you. You're meant to do work here. And again, like all the other ones, I don't know if I said it for Chiron, if you do this deep work, if you look at these things, look at it heads on, do some therapeutic work here intentionally with like awareness and dedication and patience, especially with Saturn. Patience is a good word because Saturn work takes a while, Saturnian. But if you can do that Saturnian work and healing, there's going to be some kind of reward. There's going to be something powerful. It's going to benefit your life. So do not sleep on your Saturn. Deep work to do here. Not always fun, but so worth it. And the last three I'm going to share here, it doesn't always mean that these placements are like a wound for people, but I will just name it because sometimes it can be, okay? So again, and this is true of all these videos, right? It's like everybody's chart is different. So please take everything with a grain of salt, look into it, get a reading, study yourself. Maybe you already know a lot about your chart, but these are all just offerings. So here's the last three I'm going to name for today that are also some points that can be challenging, some wounding, some healing to do. So first one is your South Node. South Node is an energy that sometimes we can get stuck in. There might be some kind of trauma, some wounding from the past. There's something we have to work out here. There's something we are going to be forced to reckon with. That's like a theme throughout our life that maybe we're meant to do something different this time. I'm not somebody who's against the South Node, but sometimes it can be a tricky spot where people get stuck. So check out your South Node, the sign it's in, the house it's in. This might be another area where there's some wounding that needs your attention. Next one is Uranus. Uranus, different for everyone again. Look at the sign, the house. Sometimes this can be a trauma signature. There's something that happened suddenly, erratic, something that was kind of disruptive to something, maybe in your development. Again, the house, the sign is really gonna matter. Different for everyone, but check out where your Uranus is. There might also be a wounding that's like, you're meant to be a rebel and free and like kind of outside of the box in this area of life, but it's also scary to do that. Again, it's gonna be different for everyone, but Uranus can definitely be another signature of some wounding, something that needs to be dealt with, or maybe you're also not like owning your Uranian energy in a healthy way. So it's just another signature, something in the chart to look at. Like, what's your relationship to this energy? And last but not least for today, Pluto. Pluto's a big one. Goodness, there's like 7,000 videos I could make on this one, but Pluto definitely can be a trauma signature. It's a place where you're meant to do some deep, deep transformation, some shadow work. There's definitely wounding here in some capacity. It could be collective, it could be personal. Wherever Pluto is in your chart, you are definitely meant to do some deep work here. And ultimately, like with all of them, if you can do the work, face the things head on, bring the things to the surface, which is very Plutonian, right? The shadow work stuff, it's going to be really powerful. You're going to have a lot of power in this area. So look at your Pluto sign and definitely the house again. The house is going to be giving a lot of clues around some deep healing work that you can't avoid. You can't avoid your Pluto. You can't avoid your Saturn. You can't avoid your Chiron. You can't avoid your Lilith. You can't avoid your South Node. You can't avoid your Uranus. So check out all these spots. They're valuable. And if this topic interests you, astrotherapy, learning how to heal, grow through the chart, stick around, go back to my other videos. I love this stuff. I love talking about the power of learning about your birth chart and how to utilize it for your own growth, shadow work, healing, transformation. There is so much power in getting to know your birth chart. So thanks for being here. Stick around, go back. Let me know in the comments, is this something that interests you? Have you gotten to know any of these parts? Where's your Chiron? Where's your Saturn? Where's your Lilith? What healing work have you already done? Let me know in the comments. I live for this stuff.